her statement in there. You put your investigator's work that deals with that witness. What you don't want to do is fumbling around after they do their direct, trying to figure out, now where was this and where was that? Each witness gets a file. And in that file is everything related to that witness. When you ultimately are going to do your cross, and you know what I do is I don't write out my questions, all right? But I will write out as I talk the areas. So it's the witness said it wasn't well lit, it was dark, right? So I know I've got a little subheading that says dark. And right next to that I've got offense report, page 3, 7th line. And on that offense, and I'll have a copy of that page in that witness's file. And I'll have an arrow to it so I can find it. The last thing we're going to do is waste the jury's time by it. And you've seen it all. Now where was it? And we've done it all. Yeah, God, you know, hold on. Judge got a briefcase and all that. And you look bad. Jurors, you're wasting their time. So in your preparation, you have this file for everybody and every single thing you can have related to that. Because you're not preparing your cross during the direct. That's not happening, okay? So that'll help you do with your preparation. Then ultimately, you will have all of these chapters on all of these witnesses and all of the evidence that completely related to it, and then you're going to organize it. And now we're back to storytelling. You're going to organize it in a way that's going to help you tell the jury the story that you want them to tell, that you want to tell them. Separate each point very clearly. Jurors, look, you know the case so well, and you know where you're trying to go, the jurors don't. Headline the points that you have. Officer, I want to now ask you about the lighting out there. Officer, I want to ask you now about your discussion with Mary Smith. Officer, I want to ask you right now about your decision not to give them Miranda warnings. Whatever it is, but a headline. When you drive, take a long car trip. Let's say I'm driving from here to Austin. I don't drive from here to Austin. I drive from here to Katy, and I drive from Katy to Sealy, and I go from Sealy to Columbus, and then you see what I'm saying? I have beginnings and I have ends, and your crosses will have those too. All right. So tell the jury what point you're about to make with them. I want to ask you now about the trial you had down in Galveston County. Okay. So headlines will help them get it and help you organize it. Separate each of your points and complete each of your points before you move to the next. Somebody was saying, there's disorganization, you know, they're just seem to be not telling a linear story. So tell a linear story by organizing your points that you're going to make. And then finally, you've got to control the witness so you can't tell your story, right? If the witness is fighting and fighting and fighting and fighting and running and running and running and running, your story gets lost. You get angry and you get upset, which, by the way, you can never, ever, ever, ever show. Okay? During any part of the trial, you can never, ever lose your cool. Well, let me say this. You can never let anybody see you lose your cool, okay? And it's maybe the time when it happens most often across. Because I haven't controlled the witness. The witness is running everywhere. I'm pissed off at him. But really and truly, I should be mad at me. Because if I've done my job, I haven't let this guy run, okay? So we're going to control the witness. And how do you do that? The most obvious way? Then what everybody gets taught is leading, right? Did you, when I was cross-examining myself, did you hear the leading questions? They're all leading, right? Everybody here is real good about leading questions, aren't you? All right, you're all good on that. One fact per question. You with me? One new fact per question. The more facts you give the witness, the more things they can disagree with. One fact per question. No qualifying words. No, adverbs are usually bad. It was very hot that day. No, I don't. Who knows what very hot means? The person was very far from you, wasn't she? No, actually they weren't. He walked away very quickly, didn't he? So we're not going to use soft words. All right? You were licensed on May the 4th, 1990. Be specific in the facts that you give the witness. Because the more non-specific you are, the more room they have to run. Now, another, I think, very, very important point in controlling a witness, is that you have to do it from the very first question. Very first question. Witnesses are like, they just need to be trained. They don't know. A lot of them don't. Some do. They know exactly what they're doing, right? But you have to train a witness. There's zero tolerance for a witness if they run on you. You noticed a couple of times with Andy, I would ask, of course, a leading question, and he would say, well, I think that's a yes, right? There is zero tolerance. A witness must be trained from the very first. And I'm telling you, the longer you let it go, you say, well, from the first question, the longer you let a witness go, the more they think, hey, this is how a person testifies, right? They must be. It's like a training a puppy. They need a little bit of. I don't train puppies like that. Anyway, you know what I mean. They have to get their change heard immediately and every single time. And are you being rude? No, you don't have to be rude. Was I rude to him? No, it just wasn't. The answer is yes. They have to understand. They're in a cadence too, and their cadence is yes, 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 or no, whatever. But they have to understand that's their job. That is their function as a witness, is to say one thing. And when they get off of that, they're going to be reprimanded. Don't ever, ever, ever let them even one time.
Even experts?
Why would they be different?
Because they know what we're trying to do, so they purposely try not to do what we want to do.
You have to be better. You have to be better. Experts are obviously, in many instances, are professional witnesses, right? I just did the hardest cross I think I've ever done. I've crossed the grisly homicide guys, super, experienced FBI agents. This guy was an agent from NASA and a lawyer. And it was the second question when I knew this guy, it's gotta be the tiniest little baby steps with him, all right? And this is sort of the art of cross, there's the science of cross is what we're talking about. The art of cross, which nobody can teach. Don't worry, it's no big deal. You don't have to understand that art. You do have to understand the science. But the art of it is, who is that witness? What's their motive? How reluctant are they going to be to help me? How's the jury reacting to them? Do they like that witness? And so with experts, who can be sitting up there to gut you, right? You just have to be more careful. And you never, ever, ever let them go or let them know. You might have to work harder at it, and you will, but you don't, okay? So let's go back to your question, which was, from the first question, we're going to rain that in. The answer to your question is absolutely, even if it's an expert. Maybe it's more important if they're an expert, okay? Do y'all have issues like that where, is there a question in your mind? Because it's the most common question I think I get when I'm visiting people about crosses. What do I do when the guy won't answer the question, right? What do I do when I'm very clearly asking a, leading question, and this guy's just talking about it, like, what do I do? Y'all have any experiences like that? What do you do?
I just repeat it again,
Repeat it, yes or no?
Repeat it.
and then if that doesn't work out, then I'll repeat it again, but then say yes or no, da-da-da-da. And just a little bit louder.
No, that's right, a little bit louder, maybe a little slower, sending the message to the jury, hey, I'm asking an easy question, what's the big deal? You did real good for that guy, but not for me, right? Do you ever go, to the judge?
I've had the prosecutor go to the judge.
What do you, would you ever do that? Would you say, Judge,
Not unless the judge makes.
Judge, would you instruct the witness to answer the question? You heard that and seen that. Do you ever do it?
Not unless the judge makes.
I would never do it.
I'd never do it.
I'd never do it. Huh?
I'd never do it, but some judges, I've been judges that do it without you asking.
Asking you.
That just kind of interrupt you.
Right, well, that, I guess that's okay. Just as long, me personally, I don't wanna be seen as not being able to handle this person. I gotta go to the judge.
Some judges demand that you do control. You're giving that witness, you're letting that witness dictate the trial.
Yeah. I would never do it, and I'd encourage you not to. Just get to these tips I'm telling you, and you're gonna be okay. One fact per question, all right? Only one. Take a baby step, and you'll do fine. Try not to use taglines in your cross either. Do y'all find yourself, or do you hear other lawyers saying, "Isn't that correct? Isn't that correct?" Or, right? Or isn't true that? You hear those prefixes and suffixes a lot. Do the best you can not to use that. Another one, which is off topic, but of course for our opening statement, the evidence is going to show is something you should never, ever, ever say. So try to stay away from taglines. Make sure, and then the real experienced witness goes like this. What do? They say, what? Is that a question? Yeah, it happens all the time. Just deal with it, it's fine, but try not to distract everybody in the jury so much with that pattern of taglines. And then I want to repeat again, I think this is important. Minimize your expectations, minimize the goal. You think, wait a minute, why is he telling me that? Why is he telling me not to shoot for the stars in cross-examination? Because I think the shooting for the stars comes from an unrealistic notion that we can ever really get there. It comes from TV and other things like that. Nobody's going to just totally fall over and capitulate. Minimize your expectations. Make the left side of your equation work, and then you are later. All right. We are going to now do some cross-examinations. Am I right? Yes, sir. All right.
Leading question.
I got some materials from y'all. Let's see who they were.
Randy is in trial. This is
Okay. I've got Danny. No, yeah, Danny. Miranda. And Randy. Who's Randy?
Randy's in trial.
Oh, Randy's in trial, so it's
You got
Danny, Miranda, and Mark, right. Go, are you?
I'm not Miranda, I'm Danny.
All right.
Doesn't look like a
I had the
Miranda.
first part of that.
Sorry.
I'll tell you what,
Yeah, it's like a Miranda.
before we launch into the real thing, let's do a little exercise. Let's do a little exercise in cross. And here's the exercise. Is I want you to tell me a story. I want you to tell me a story in the form of cross-examination. To make up the story, you can tell me what you did this morning. For example, let me give you an example. And when we're going to work on is short questions, we're going to work on one fact per question. We're going to work on some looping, things like that. Just some of the forensic stuff. I'll give you an example. And we'll do it in the third person. So I'll tell my story through Andy here. You were asleep at 6:15,
Yes,
and your alarm went off.
it did,
So at 6:15, your alarm went off.
yes.
You opened your eyes,
Yes,
barely, correct?
correct.
And you turned your head. I want to be that precise. So you turned your head.
Yeah, I think so.
Is that a yes?
Yes.
And so we're practicing all the little things we're talking about. We're not going to let a guy move. We're going to make him answer. We're going to train him the way we want him to be trained. And you looked at the clock.
I did.
And when you looked at the clock, it said 6:15.
Depressingly so.
Is that a yes?
That's a yes.
And when it said 6:15, you could hear the alarm.
I could hear the alarm.
And you reached over to the clock
I did.
and you turned the alarm off.
I hit the snooze button, yes.
All right. So you with me? I want to do that exercise. I want you to just go. We're going to pick it up a little bit along the way. All right? Why don't you begin for us in the very back? What's your name?
Diana.
Diana?
Diana.
I've seen you 1,000,000 times in the crowd over the years. All right. Tell us a story in the crowds. Well, I'm going to stop you after a minute. Don't worry. Yeah, you can cross that. Make it up. Anything.
I was in the office late last night.
How many facts we have there?
3.
Okay, let's try it through Andy. One tiny little fact at a time. So use the word you, just so we can make this work.
You were in the office late last night.
I was maybe.
Late? No, it wasn't really so late. You know, I don't know. Depends on what you really call late. You with me?
You
Be
left the
specific.
office at 10 o'clock last night.
Yes.
I actually work with these people tonight. She's just trying to make her stuff. I keep going down. One step at a time. Take me to the elevator. It doesn't matter. Just get the cadence of it. Get the feel on it.
When you walked out of the office alone.
Yes.
You rode down the elevator alone.
Yes.
There were a few people, only security guards were on the first floor.
That's all that I saw.
When you walked out the door, it was dark.
Yes.
Keep going. Just give me 30 more seconds. You're starting to do it. Where'd you go?
You walked to your car.
I walked to my car.
You're walking alone to your car.
Okay, good. All right, that's a good sense. Let's do a couple more. Do we have anybody volunteer for it? Would you? What's your name?
Jackie.
Jackie. All right, Jackie.
She can do it.
Tell us a story.
You can do it 2.5, yeah.
You have a 5-month-old son, correct? You have a 5-month-old son.
I did.
And he just started eating food.
No, he's been eating food all his life.
He used to only eat milk, right?
Yes.
Because babies don't initially come out eating anything more than milk, right?
My limited experience, no.
Okay. And when you introduced solid foods, you first started with bananas.
I believe bananas were the first food.
And then.
Is that a yes?
Is that a
Don't let him
yes?
do that to you.
Yes.
And then you went to green beans.
keep going, I'm not gonna let you quit, keep going. Do 45 more seconds. And I want you to pick it up. I want you to get a sense of the rhythm. Feel the rhythm of the cross. You know your baby, you know what he ate, let's go. We all wanna know what the stupid baby did.
He hasn't eaten that much. He ate carrots after that,
Carrots, yes.
and then sweet potatoes.
Sweet potatoes, yes.
You haven't given him anything else to eat in solid foods, right?
No.
All right, well, I want you to keep working on it, Jackie. You got it, I wanna hear, we're gonna maybe visit later, but I want that cross to be more natural for you, okay? More storytelling. One more, who else? Who else? I love it when you, like you look at somebody, it's like law school, you know? I'm not here, I'm absent today. Who wants to, one more?
Come on, man.
All right, come on.
I have to put you back on her baby story.
All right, good.
Okay, thank goodness, because I don't remember baby stuff. I'm just gonna pick the topic, right?
Make it up.
So you were at work on May 1st,
I worked on May 1st, yes.
and it was a Thursday.
May 1st was, I don't know what to call
That's good, yeah, I got you, keep going.
And, you, like any other day, left work about 5:30,
it. Yes,
and you drove home,
I did drive home, yes.
and you drove in your car on that day.
I did drive my car, yes.
Okay, I want you to stop. Two things. One is, we're gonna try to get away from, you have a and, we're gonna get away from that. And then you're gonna, what's your name?
Juanita.
Juanita, I've seen you in the courthouse another time. I want you to look over here.
Okay.
All right, I want you to just
I wanted to practice that.
look at us and tell the story. No, I know.
So, really? And not look at it?
I want you to look at it one second.
Not
It's
one second.
totally irrelevant and useless.
Okay.
And then we're gonna decide your case.
And you got in the car by yourself?
Yes.
Don't look at you. Look it up.
And,
Right, keep good.
when you were alone, you got a phone call.
Yes.
And that was Miranda on the telephone, wasn't it?
It was.
You had a heated conversation with Miranda on that day.
It wasn't heated on my end.
Is that a yes? So it's your testimony that Miranda was heated.
I don't know what Miranda was feeling.
Now we're getting into a weird place, right? Now, I'm sorry, turn the phone. You're not telling the story he is. And now it's gotten all weird, and you're answering his questions, we're not gonna go there, we're not going there at all. And what got her off? What was it that got it off? What was it? Heated. What is heated, right? I mean, who knows what heated is? So we've got to use very specific, very clear terms that aren't gonna give a person room to wiggle. I love all of you got it, you got the feel of it. Gotta take it to the courtroom. Okay, you've got to take that to the courtroom. It's going to make you more effective. All right. And do that on your way home tonight in your car. Practice that. Tell a story. Yeah, it's weird when all these people are around. Guess what? I guess it's weird in the courtroom too. But practice that sense of cross. That's where you need to get.
How about on the bus?
Bus? You might be, yeah. You might ask you to take the next stop. I'm sorry, sir, you left. You have to get off. You know, you can't, now don't practice cross-examination at home. right? Spouses and kids are the word. It doesn't go over real well. All right, so that's a good exercise. Do it on your own and do it at home, okay? And it'll be helpful for you. Let's hear a few. How about this? I've got, Randy's in trial, right? Oh, that was a good one.
It's actually the case,
Oh, God. Oh, really? I have some ideas for that. Okay, Miranda. You're gonna, Miranda's case, do you all need to tell them what you're?
Yeah, I don't think I even know.
Why don't you give a general?
Okay, so mine would actually be across from probably a suppression hearing. It's a security guard that arrested my client for having a joint in an apartment complex. So, the suppression, motion would be that the citizen's arrest, my client was not, there was no breach of the peace and it was not a felony.
They ultimately find
Other people's debit cards on him, which is how I got the case.
Does that make sense to everybody? It's a security guard, Captain America security guard, arresting some poor guy. Oh my gosh, for rolling a joint, right? Okay. And they find, the security guards had him pull stuff out of his pockets, and they find these fake credit cards, and then the police show up, and then he's charged with what, possession of some kind of
Debit card use.
debit card. Okay. All right. So Miranda, you're going to cross. You want to cross primarily on the issue of breach of peace, right? So the legal issue is whether being in public with marijuana is a breach of the peace, and if it is, a citizen, a non-police officer, can arrest the person. If it's not, then a non-police officer can't arrest him. And then everything after that is, would be, I guess, theoretically suppressible, right? Okay, gotcha. Fire away.
But not.
All-time witness. Officer, this is, you're gonna cross the security Captain
Right.
America, right?